his assistant on like a Saturday says, Mr. Epstein, your neighbor would like to invite you over for coffee. So my wife and I
switch to TurboTax. File free in the app by 2/28. All 100% free. Now this is taxes. Intuit TurboTax.
Headshot him.
Back one. That's a horrible nade. Oh my god.
Build some space. Is there a kid to the right? Be careful.
I don't think so. Yeah. He just pulled one up, I think.
Yeah,
I heard that. Wrong.
Trailblazer, I cracked that guy. Two more.
They're gonna break that.
Killed that kid to the right.
You killed him, nice.
Solo on that one.
You sure? Solo?
Yeah, I mean, white
There's
four
one.
times.
I think that kid's dead. I killed that kid. There's only two in the elevator. Do we just
Nice.
swing this?
Yeah, we just had it. Oh my
Send
god.
it. Always one. Nice. Another one. You guys gotta rest quick. I downed that guy on the couch. Oh, wait. No way.
One! Yo, I just hit him with like 6 bullets.
No way.
Damn,
This guy's gonna res me.
I full trust in that.
He's gonna res me. No.
Wait. Crawl hutch. Oh my god.
No way, our boys.
Hold up, I'm going back for hutch.
Yeah, I'm going for him too.
Have your door.
God, these guys are fucking awesome. I love these guys.
Is this? No, sir, is that you? Alright.
Fuck, I'm down to go back in. Big trig on me.
What's up, my guy? Trying to kill Arch? I don't know why you're doing this.
Racing time, you tell me a PvP player will come in. See where it is. Now PvP player, that's $50 that you won't make it really into the match. I told you. Fucking moron. What do you have to say? Hey, stupid, come down there. Yeah, you fucking idiot. Hey, whoever killed that guy, don't you? He's a rat. Thanks for killing that guy. I appreciate you. I only got a free load up. Have at it. kid.
go next door. We walk the 7 steps,
Yes.
right, to the next house for
Building
coffee.
7.
We share a wall.
I'm just
It's
saying.
New York City. So he invites us in. We have coffee in this, and he says, "Do you want a tour?" We said, "Great." He's
Interesting.
got a really big house.
Every room you went into?
He's got. Well, I'll tell you. So his house is like super big, really wide, and so he gives me a tour in the living room, big living room, and then across from it is double doors. I assume it's the dining room.
Yeah.
And he opens the doors, and there's a massage table in the middle of the room, and candles all around and stuff. So I ask very insightful, cutting questions. I say to him, "Massage table in the middle of your house? How often do you have a massage?" And he says, "Every day." And then he gets weirdly close to me.
Ooh.
And he says, "And the right kind of massage."
Ooh.
Now my wife is standing here. So she looks at me and I look at her and we say, "I'm sorry, we have to go." And we left. And in the 6 or 8 steps it takes to get from his house to my house, my wife and I decided that I will never be in the room with that disgusting person ever again.
All right, let's cut it there, Griff. And then let's put up the next clip where he was in front of the United States Congress after emails showed that he had sent multiple emails to Jeffrey Epstein, including potentially planning a trip to the island. And what do we have here?
He
Just
did,
a little
he
bit.
did go to the island.
Yeah. Quote, and actually, this is a 5-minute clip. We don't have time to find it. I'll give you the direct quote. "Did you, in fact, make the visit to Jeffrey Epstein's private island?" Lutnick, I quote, "I did have lunch with him as I was on the boat going across on a family vacation. We had lunch on the island." That is true. That is after the alleged incident and the dramatic telling that you all just saw, which is planned by email, which was released in the Epstein files.
Now, he said he would never be in a room with him again.
Yeah, oh, right. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, right.
It could be outdoors.
Yeah, you're right.
He was on a yacht. Okay? It's very
he was
different.
on a yacht. He happened to be near the island. I mean, it's disgusting.
Yeah.
It's an explicit lie. And then it's not just about the lie, it's about the confidence in which he's willing to tell that story. And what does that confidence tell you? The confidence that his lie will never be found out. Right? That was the purpose of that lie, is that he knew that he was lying in the very moment that he said that. Not only did it get found out, but now he also knows that he will face no consequences. And I think that is the worst part is, and this, remember what I was talking about with foreign governments and accountability? Our government is the least accountable, and our government has the most of these people. The Federal Reserve Chair was listed in the Epstein email as a potential guest. The new chairman, who Trump is going to appoint Federal Reserve. RFK Jr., there's an email in here where they're talking about going fossil hunting with RFK Jr. I mean, Jr.'s, I even asked him about it. He admits going.
No, he got out early.
He was like, "Oh, yeah, I stopped hanging out with him, but I was on the plane." And what did he say to us, Griffin? He's like, "I knew a lot of people. I knew O.J. Simpson or something."
He went on a list.
Yeah, he was like, "I knew O.J. I knew,
It is also funny that he's like, "We went fossil hunting." Yeah, it was old stuff we were looking at. The oldest it could be.
Right.
No.
But I mean, what is the consequence for someone like Lutnick? Like you're saying,
the consequence should be that the public should demand resignation. And
but if we're making anyone that's associated with Epstein resign, I mean, Trump is his boy.
Well, okay.
Back in the day.
Fair point.
Lutnick is Trump's handler, right? Like that's.
I mean, I don't know if that's accurate. As I understand it, Lutnick is like this deep.
Kushner's the handler.
Yeah.
You think his kid is?
Yeah.
No, his son-in-law.
The son-in-law.
But he's still his kids.
Yeah, but nah.
I don't think as
we can
I
get
understand
sued for
it,
that?
I don't think. Yeah, be careful.
No. But like, it seems. Look, if Lutnick had that type of connectivity with Epstein, like where he's willing to lie about the relationship, even though he knows he's gone to the island, the emails show that he's planned to be there. He's Trump's right-hand man. He's behind him in every single conversation that he's having.
The point man on tariffs, by the way. Point man on tariffs and about the destabilization. By the way, people should look into his son. If Griffin was here, I'd have him look it up. His sons are doing some sketchy stuff whenever it comes to the tariffs as well. But the point remains around all of this is that accountability.
Hold on, I don't
demand-
want to leave this. Do you think that Lutnick is his handler?
No, I don't think that. I think handler misunderstands the way that the current Trump administration works. Like the idea that he doesn't have agency, and I think Trump has a lot of agency. Like he's the person who's deciding what he wants to do. He may be manipulated, in certain directions, and I definitely think that's true. But that's not unique to Lutnick. That's a variety of different policy areas.
So,
right?
so with Trump then specifically, right? Because Trump has mentioned what 1 million times in the emails, tons
according
of connectivity.
according to Jamie Raskin. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there any? Is it because the timeline that we were presented was that they kind of knew each other.
Right.
Now we know they really knew each other.
They were good friends.
They were good friends, but now they kind of knew each other, and then something happens, and then they sever the friendship.
That's according to Trump.
That's according to Trump. But have the files proved that that wasn't the case?
Well, what the files have proved, not just the files, what we have see is that Trump's intimate relationship with Epstein is much deeper than he let on, which is that he was just a Mar-a-Lago member, that they casually knew each other. And by the way, Trump has hung himself in his own public comments. He talks about how he was being creepy with girls that were at the spa. The story came out that Mar-a-Lago was sending private massage girls to Jeffrey Epstein's house.
I mean, Virginia Giuffre.
I was going to say, Virginia Giuffre, she's a more controversial Epstein accuser. I will definitely give you that. But it is undeniable that she was trafficked, or she was, abused and or associated with Epstein around the time that she left Mar-a-Lago. And Trump was even asked, did you sever your relationship because Virginia Giuffre was stolen by Epstein from Mar-a-Lago? And he basically said yes in the Oval Office. He was asked about it on camera. But the deeper point around their relationship is not just their social relationship, but, frankly, we see multiple instances of an entanglement in their social life when it comes to women. So, for example, you see this ex-girlfriend that Epstein apparently had that eventually started to date Donald Trump. If Griffin was here, I'd have him pull it up, but there's a dated check in the birthday book where it's like a depreciated asset,
convenient timing
being
for
sold.
Griffin to leave the room.
He's deep state. Dude.
He's in the deep state.
He's literally compromised.
No, but there's the depreciated
Sager's handler for sure.
depreciated asset check where there's a girl, like Trump's ex-girlfriend, being sold from Epstein to Trump. Like, this is a bad look. There's also in the Epstein files, I'll have Griffin pull this up whenever he comes back, is Trump's one of the accusers was actually interviewed by the FBI. Can we get that? It's in Politicians, Trump accuser interviewed by the FBI. Just came out from Roger Sullenberger, which, by the way, let me just finish the thought there. The fact that the FBI did interview a victim who was accusing Trump goes beyond an anonymous claim against Donald Trump by a tip line, right? So this was actually one of being interviewed. Again, look, being interviewed is not necessarily a crime, but what we're talking about is a deep social relationship which Trump has never really wanted to acknowledge in his public life, but in the prior life, he would acknowledge it all the time. The 2002 interview that he did on the record about Epstein, he literally said, Jeffrey, he likes him young.
Yep.
Like, he said that straight up in 2002. And he was like, no question, Jeffrey enjoys his social life.
So
was
why
the
run on
birthday
this?
card? One second. The birthday card, was that before or after 2008?
That was 2006. 2006 is the year that
So why run on
Yeah.
this?
What do you mean?
Why would Trump run on this? Why would
Well,
he
that's a
campaign
great
on
question.
this? And then why would he specifically choose people that build their entire identity around exposing
You
it?
know what I've noticed about this? And I actually went and checked the record.
Mark?
Trump.
No.
Oh,
No,
Mark.
go ahead. I'll add on to what Sagar says.
Trump never ran on it. He was always uncomfortable when asked about it. I went back and checked the record. He was never into it.
So
it was the people
QAnon
around him.
Wait, what do you mean the people around him?
It was Kash Patel. It was Pam Bondi.
But
it was
he's choosing them.
Yeah, but he chose them, but like he didn't choose them for Epstein. Like he kind of flew above the. And whenever he asked about it, remember famously with Ghislaine, "I wish her well," right? Like the famous comment that he gave. Oh, Jeff, I barely knew him. Actually, it was a Democratic scandal, but. When he was on the campaign trail, he never mentioned it. It was other people, like influencers, media ecosystems that were obsessed with the case, which was used by the Trump campaign to become into a
Mark proved that Sagar is compromised.
No, he does have one mention where I don't remember exactly where it is, but he comes out kind of unannounced and says, by the way, that Epstein Island thing, Clinton's going to have a hard time with that.
Did he say, where did
Do you
he
remember
say?
this?
Yes. This is during the campaign?
This is like 2016, 2015? I can't remember exactly. But he basically just comes out, it seems like it's sort of unprompted, but he just kind of like goes at Clinton, basically trying to use it against him. And I don't remember the exact, do you remember this, right?
Yes, I do remember him referencing it. Now, is this
something with the island and Clinton's gonna have a
Is
hard
he
time.
already elected at this point? Is he campaigning against Hillary, and he's using this as a way to malign Hillary through Bill?
Yeah, I think it was that.
That's so surprising because Clinton's his boy now. You know.
Yeah, I know they're good friends.
He's always been good to him. You know.
So early 2016, Bill Clinton had a lot of problems coming up with the famous island with Jeffrey Epstein. That's
So
what
Trump
said.
references the island.
I didn't know that.
2016, it kind of
So
just
that's in
brings it
2016.
up.
It's like a throwaway comment.
Yeah, and
against
it's
Bill
just
Clinton.
Saga, do your research, bro.
Okay, so this is where I got to give some pushback on you, because it seems as if Trump and the administration are very technical in terms of, not, I don't know, technical might be the wrong word, but like purposeful in the people that they put into power, right? Like they don't like, well, maybe you
I wish that were true.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like they want to execute certain things, and they put people in power that will execute those things.
Yes, that's right.
Right?
Yes.
So they did choose Bondi.
Yeah.
They did choose Cash.
Yeah.
They did choose what's his face?
Bongino.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah.
so they were aware of these people's identities. They were aware of what they were campaigning with themselves. Why would they put them in those positions of power
Because you
and expect
neutralize
something different?
See, that actually did happen too, though.
But
is
then
that-
you got to neutralize them. It seems like an extra effort. It's like, for example, this new person they're putting up for the Fed chair,
Yeah,
right? They don't like what Jerome Powell's
Powell,
doing,
yeah.
so they're putting someone else that's going to do things that the administration wants. That's
Yeah.
what I imagine.
Yeah.
Will that guy do the exact same thing that the administration wants? I don't know, but that's their hope.
Yes.
You're telling me we're supposed to believe that they would put these three figures in power, and then once they're in power, go, hey, can you take back everything you just said, because that's not what we want.
Well-
Why not put people in power that said the stuff that Trump and them believe or want us to believe? It just seems like
Bongino's a massive
Let me
oppositional
intro.
voice. If you recruit him into the fold and basically,
oh, this is the RFK thing. It's like RFK has a lot of support. People like him. We're going to bring him into a fold. Maybe we can scrape some Dem votes.
Well, there's a famous LBJ quote. They're like, why'd you bring in one of your enemies into the tent? He's like, better inside pissing out than outside pissing in, right? So like that.
But he doesn't
like,
have to worry about Cash Patel.
I don't think. Listen, there are a variety of theories. I've always believed that he basically thought it was a stupid issue that got people riled up, and he didn't realize people like us were serious about it whenever we were talking about it and then wanting and demanding accountability. I also look. There's an alternative explanation for Cash and Bondi, which is while they may be very, like. They may have been very into the Epstein question. They're also loyal.
They're loyal
right, exactly. They're literally
do what you're told,
guys,
dog.
They're willing to
They will do
debase
anything.
themselves
It
in
is
public.
pathetic.
Yeah, they're
That's the
willing
answer
to
right there,
sacrifice
bro.
themselves.
It is
I mean, look at Tulsi
He still
Tulsi
runs
Gabbard.
FBI. Chill out, bro.
Right, no, but like,
my bad.
we've got Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr. and Pam Bondi and Cash. Like, these people have defenestrated themselves, like, completely on the public stage for everything that they allegedly believed in. Like, dude, I've interviewed Tulsi I thought she was a legit person. I really did.
Yeah.
And when I
really
saw
like
her back up the Iran thing, I was like, I cannot believe this, that this woman, who I spent so many times interviewing,
So what do you
really
think it is?
respected. Dude, it's about power at the end of the day. New York Times article just dropped. The reason that she's behind all this Fulton County FBI election raid, they're like, she wanted to get back in Trump's good graces. Like, that, dude, it literally is about access to the king.
And it checks out that Trump wasn't taking this seriously because they really thought the whole giving away the binders
They
thing
thought
was
it
going
was
to be
bull.
fun.
They because
They usually have a good
let's keep in mind
idea
though,
of
but
the-
they've been right about everything else. Every single other thing. If you look at issue areas where MAGA purports to care, and Trump says it no longer, like Iran. If you were to poll MAGA 2 years ago, should we strike Iran under the current circumstances where the administration looks like they might? They would have been like, absolutely not. Biden should be impeached. He's trying to start a war without congressional authorization.
Yeah.
Now Trump says it. Oh, God, it's 90% support, right? So it's literally going to flip. It's called thermostatic public opinion. Things rise and shift with depending on who's in power. I mean, same thing on the but the thing is, the Epstein was the one thing that they didn't realize. No, a lot of us actually care, and that's why.
Pause for 1 second. Is that because they didn't realize how much normal people care about being women?
Yeah, you might be right, dude. Like, I don't know.
Are they so caught up in the Epstein class themselves that they're just going, oh, they care about little girls getting trafficked?
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
is
they're
it
like, oh,
so
these losers.
normal to
Yeah.
these people
Yeah.
that they think that we would just get over it?
Well, I mean, if
Is
you
it so commonplace in their life?
not in their defense, but let's think about it. They've gotten over the MAGA people have gotten over so much. Like with flip-flops, Ukraine, Iran, like
You
things,
can't get over it.
life and death.
You can't get over it.
so
January
many
6th.
vital issues. I mean, I could think forever. like so many campaign promises which were alleged and then didn't happen, right? IVF, right? Like that was supposed to be a big one. The vaccine, that was a big one for some people. Building the wall, which never happened in the first. Like, dude, I could literally give you a spreadsheet list for a whole other show of just shit that was supposed to happen, which didn't happen. But the Epstein one seems to be the one that people, for some reason, decided to just not let it up. And I do want to give credit to a lot of people out there. A lot of people out there who are sticking to their guns on this story. And I can tell you, this is the most shit that I.
How do you feel about the current administration?
Hold on one second. What do you mean this is the most shit you get?
Oh, they're whitey world. You're so obsessed with Epstein. Nobody cares, man. Like you're in the mythology, and they're always like you're. You know, they literally sound like the liberals from when I used to talk about this before. Conspiracy theorists. There's nothing there. They're sending me all this apologia about, yo, man, these girls, like they were lying to Epstein about their age. You know, it's like, have you ever read the law? By the way, the law says that that's not a defense. Florida statute, which Epstein was convicted under, it literally says not knowing the age is not a legal defense.
This is one of the grossest narratives that I'm sure has come down from some like right-wing think tank where it's like, you know, the girls were procuring
they were in on it.
Yeah.
So now we're going to villainize
So their
teenagers.
consent, right? Exactly. There's no such thing as consent for an underage girl. That's dude. And yeah, if you manipulate a young, how is it that we can understand this for everything else? If you manipulate somebody to do something against their will or put them in a bad situation where look, he specifically went after the girls who were troubled or had bad family situations who needed a couple $100s here or there. I mean, the same thing. They're like, oh, well, he was just flying in European hookers. That is illegal. Like, I literally feel like I'm going crazy. You cannot fly Russian hookers to the United States to fuck them. That is a violation of the Mann Act. That is explicit interstate prostitution. Like, I feel like I am losing it whenever it comes to this. And they're like, you're feeding all of these conspiracy theories of, and have I brought up anything that hasn't been literally verified? No. I try to couch everything I say.
Why do you
We'll get to the Pizzagate stuff. I'll even show that to you, and I'll couch it exactly what it is.
I want to talk about that too. I want to talk about like some of the most salacious and absurd things in it. But like, why do you think that they are so committed? Why do you think DC is so committed?
Because for them, it's a problem. They see everything through partisan lens. For them, now it's a problem for Trump. Ergo, you're creating problems for this administration. I go, I don't give a fuck.
Like, isn't there a part of them that looks at this and they're like, there are underage girls being trafficked and there's no accountability? Is there no part of them where you look them in their eyes and you're like, yo, you have kids.
Yeah.
You have nieces. Like,
but then they convince themselves that they did nothing wrong. If anything did happen, it's all overblown. It's a satanic panic. That's the new one. Is that this is equivalent to the satanic panic of the 1980s.
I have satanic panic. That there are Satanists that are ruling the world that are eating children. That is a real concern.
And the thing is that for them, it's so hard to describe the social scene of Washington. Washington exists where like questions of morals and all of that are they're always pushed aside for power. These are people who give up their families, they give up any earning opportunity. This is their life. This is life and death. Like the success of their ability to have access to the Trump administration, whatever administration happens to be in power. And this is an entire political class.
Absolutely.
Power corrupts absolutely. Exactly. Like that's what it is.
Distort people's brains.
Dude, I see. Like I said, I'm in a weird position because now I know some of these people. Like I knew, like
this is what I'm so
Tulsi.
curious about.
You know what I'm saying? Like with Tulsi, like we sat across the desk. I thought it was real. Like I really thought. And listen, I've read a lot of books about politicians who lie to your face, but it's another thing.
Wow.
Like to experience it and to experience it at a visceral level. RFK Jr. I mean, how many times did I interview RFK? 4? How many?
I think 3.
3, 4. Right. I spent hours with this guy.
What do you think RFK's implications are?
Well, it's not about implications. I'm like, in the way that he's operating within HHS, and like they throw out this like bullshit for the masses on Twitter. But like, if you're hardcore Maha, like you should be furious about the way that this administration has acted from the USDA.
Well, no, Sandra, they're only worried about what goes in their bodies if it's not grown-up.
Yeah, no, I guess.
This is what I'm trying to understand. Bondi just said they're not releasing any more files. Right? That's it. No more files. So the Kalshi market should be 0 for more files getting released this month. But somebody's still trading.
That's just how crazy gambling is.
Because they're like, that's a good point. Nah, that should be easy money right there. Or
insider
Pan's got an account Pam's got an account on Kalshi.
Barron's doing tricks with the computer.
Barron's cooking up something.
You remember when Trump said that? He's like, Barron with this computer, he's just amazing with this computer. The things he can do.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, he's stealing.
Make $100 million on a fucking coin. Yeah.
What he can do with this is great.
So they got a 12. What is that? 11.4% chance that we get more.
Yeah. And it's really just a bet on, like, is Pam Bondi telling the truth now?
Well, she's an honest woman. She would always tell the truth, right? When did she ever lie?
And I think we will get more, especially Saga reported today that only 2% of the files actually came out. So
They
it's like
say it's half. It's 2%.
2% now.
Yeah.
So if the public finds that out, I'm gonna take that prediction.
Yeah.
We're getting more.
Yeah, it might be a little bit. I mean, knowing T-Dog, he might release one file.
Just to get Taryn on a quick
You guys, a new file is dropped.
Yo, that is
One singular email.
Why isn't that what everybody's pretty good?
Knock, knock. Who's there?
Yeah.
You just go, oh, yeah, that's what can happen. Right? Like if you put $10 on it, if some guy dumps $2 million, they might be driving the ship. Right? Like they got their finger on the button.
Yeah. I just thought, I was like, should someone, by someone I mean me, email Epstein with my dates? Did I tell you this?
Yes.
With my tour dates.
Yes.
And just be like, hey, fuck you, Epstein. Also, I'm on the road. Come see me here. Then it's released in the files, and then everyone sees my tour
Well,
dates.
you would get your ideal audience for sure. Like, that is
Conspiracy theorists.
Conspiracy theorists.
Yes, people searching through truth seekers.
Exactly.
People trying to get to the
100%.
bottom of this great conspiracy.
Your mom finding you in the files would be so funny because that means she was searching.
Exactly.
Anyway, let's get Sagar back in here.
Yes, dude.
Before we get rich.
Yeah.
It's not trying to be too rich and be invited to, be part of these cabals. Are we off cabals? Are we off cabal?
The debutante cabal?
The debutante cabal. That's what they were.
In a way. Oh, dude, that's gross. Why'd you make it gross?
Oh, man, come
Why'd you make it so gross, dude?
Oh, Mark.
Why does your brain always go there?
Mark,
why does your brain always connect up with it?
Oh, Mark!
You're always thinking of these
That was nasty,
evil
dude.
things.
And you're from down south?
No, dude,
don't
you're
even-
from New York, dude. You live right near Epstein. He was your neighbor, basically.
I have a cabal here.
Yeah.
I joined a cabal as a kid. You have to slice some kid in the face. Is that what that called? Yeah. We call them gangs, but y'all call them cabals.
Knock, knock.
What is it, the buck 15?
Buck 50.
No, 15 is that's the cabal. Come on.
Like it's discounted?
Yeah.
Like, get the negotiating with the guy cutting your face.
Yeah.
What about $1.50?
Yeah. And make jokes about negotiating, you little boy.
Fuck you! Don't call me that word.
You wouldn't even understand.
You're a good little goy too.
Stop it! Don't say that.
You are a good little goy.
No, stop.
Al, you're a goy.
I like being a goy.
Yeah, you're not. You're not. You don't get to be a goy. All right, now listen, can we get back?
Yeah,
can we get
let's
back?
go.
We have to
Bring-
respect
yes.
Sagar's time.
Yes, we're missing 2 Indians right now. Yeah,
We go! Archives, get back from Australia already.
How do you feel about the current administration?
Well, how do you think I feel about it? What's coming? Is it coming across yet?
Well, tell us how you feel.
Yeah, how do you feel? Like you are conservative. Like,
Bro, I'm
We
friendly.
got no shit for criticizing.
Yeah, you had a very violent I think what I'm the most disgusted by was the rhetorical use of a lot of principles which I really cared about. So like, let's say, for example, anti-war and Iran, right? And it's especially galling to have sat across the table from some of the people who are now currently in power and who are pushing or excusing this type of behavior. And not only that, who are either silent or actively working behind the scenes and not stopping the obvious, like, look, I could call it a takeover, but that's why I have to come back to Trump has agency. Trump has agency. He's the one who's decided to embrace this neoconservative agenda to do all of this insane nonsense with Venezuela.
And hold him accountable
or like,
for it.
And
Don't
the thing
chalk it
is-
up to the deep
but
state.
see,
He's
that's
the
thing.
guy in charge,
Exactly.
and then pin his ass.
He needs to be held, but it's also about the people around him because
Of course,
I now
them
know
too.
for a fact they're not. If you take your role seriously, then you actively work for that type of principle that you ran on and that you have literally sat across the table from me, and I'm not talking about one person, I'm talking about a lot of different people here who were like, we believe this, like the United States, we should not go to war with Iran. And so then to watch,
how comforting was that to hear for the first time in your life?
It's not about comfort. This was a project. I believed in this project. I worked, in many cases to try and assist this project, like in not the Trump campaign, but like I'm talking about the principles,
the
ideology, right? Like I have taken so much shit. I excised myself from professional Washington to go against, like, for the neoconservative agenda. Man, I got basically professionally canceled over Israel. It's fine, I have my show, I get to hang out with you guys and stuff. Like, I don't care about that, but like there was a cost, man. Like there was a cost. And so then to have those people like come into power, and now we're on the brink of bombing Iran for literally no reason. After, by the way, not to derail this too much, didn't we bomb Iran so that we would never have to deal with the nuclear issue? So if we bombed it already to never have to deal with the nuclear issue, why are we currently on the brink of a potential war over the nuclear issue? Because I was told that the nuclear issue was solved during the 12-day war. Oh, that's
Can you
interesting.
tell us how it would be advantageous to the United States of America, and then we get back to Epstein, but to engage in a war with Iran? Why would that be politically, economically?
It's not politically popular. Economically is another story. It's economically maybe, potentially useful for the United States to control the Straits of Hormuz, although I would argue that
why would we end up controlling it?
Right. Well, of course, because this is about regime change. Like, ultimately, and really, you're saying the United States, there's really not that much in it for us. The United States,
that's why
for
I
the
don't
Middle
get
East,
it.
Yeah, well, there's a little country called Israel, for which this is actually a vital national security interest.
So they should handle it.
Let me explain this too. Well,
And
how can they? They can't handle shit. The one war they got into, they were getting their ass handed to them, with the United States basically shooting down half the missiles that were coming there. And downtown Tel Aviv still looked. Portions of downtown Tel Aviv literally looked like London during the Blitz. Like, it was crazy.
So the question I keep going back to is, like, if you can explain to the American people why it's advantageous to us to do certain things, there's a version where they start to go, okay, now, I don't love the intervention stuff at all. I don't like the endless foreign rules. I hate it. I thought that was a seductive talking point, which now they've obviously flip-flopped on, like they flip-flop on everything they said, and it's fucking horrible. But, like, for example, with the Venezuela thing, which I don't love, but the American mind can go, wait a minute, we have oil gets cheaper, everything. Listen, the American mind is, what you're doing is you're operating in, like, Washington. I'm talking about the American mind, and imagine, like, the propaganda system. Okay, oil is this much. Wait, now we have access to more oil. That's leveraging power in the world. Things potentially get cheaper here. This is how people can consume things, right? Yeah. Do we agree, yes or no?
Yeah, totally,
I don't see any strategic benefit for the United States.
It's so fucking dark and I can't see shit.
Engaging a prolonged war with Iran. Dude, if someone can explain it to me, that'd be lovely. It's crazy that they're not even trying to explain it. Like, that should be the most audacious part of this. They're not even bothering to give us a whole propaganda campaign. At least with the bullshit Iraq war, they had the fucking.
You can't let the smoking gun be a mushroom cloud.
Is that what
that was the line?
Yeah, or the war on terror, or whatever these things are. At least they gave us something like, you know what, we're gonna at least trick the American people into thinking that they're the.
Double headshots.
Had something to do with 9/11.
Exactly. They gave it this. They're not even doing it.
They're saying they have ballistic missiles now.
Right.
It's pitch fucking black. I can't.
Let me explain that too. Just so you guys know, the ballistic missile thing, let's just think about it. Who are the ballistic missiles a threat to? All right? Ballistic missiles are a threat to the United States only when they are intercontinental ballistic missiles.
And if they don't
Does
have
Iran have intercontinental ballistic missiles? No. Okay? They do have regional ballistic missiles, which are capable of hitting what? Israel. That's right. So that becomes the talking point for a new deal with Iran. The only thing America has an interest in with Iran is the flow of oil through the Straits of Hormuz and the nuclear threat. That's it. And the Iranians are like, all right, you guys want to talk nuclear? Let's go. But then at the last minute, after Bibi Netanyahu comes in, we're like, oh, but by the way, we also talk about ballistic missiles. And they're like, no, we're not going to talk about ballistic missiles. And then all the front groups in Washington are like, they don't want to negotiate in good faith. They refuse to negotiate. Guys, and I'm not pro-Iran. I'm not pro-Islamic Republic. Let's think for a second.
Yeah, fuck the regime.
Okay, yeah, right.
They just murdered 40,000 people in protest.
Well, I don't know about the number, but the whole point is just like, they murdered a lot of people,
okay.
right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And now, with the help of Mossad and the United States, also, yes, let's be honest about some of that. The story just broke. The United States smuggled hundreds of Starlink terminals into Iran to help the protests. Literally, I mean, maybe thousands of Starlink terminals. The Mossad was literally bragging in Israeli press about how they were arming the Iranian protesters, right? So it's a little complicated, isn't it? But just to even come back from that, The point around the whole Iran question is that this is an Israeli problem.
So they should
This is
handle
an
it.
Israeli problem, but they can't handle it, as they proved in the 12-day war.
They shouldn't have that problem.
Only the United States can handle it. Even in the 12-day war, it takes the full force of the U.S. empire to make sure they don't get blown to shit, right? And this is the biggest problem. That even 12-day war, it took 25% of U.S. interceptors just for that 12 days. That was just to defend Israel. Now imagine if we have to start defending ourselves.
That's 25% of our
entire stockpile.
all around the world.
Our whole global stockpile
Wait,
of that
what?
interceptors, 25%. And if we get into a real conflict, we're fucked. That would mean we need to at least make sure if we're gonna go all out, it needs to be for something truly vital for us. And this is not it. And the reason why they don't want you paying attention, if you start learning this ballistic missile stuff, you're going to go crazy. But that's why they don't want the American people engaged.
Yeah, and I don't think that there should be anything wrong with having this perspective. I think as an American, you're allowed to look out for the interest of your country and see why that would be.
I mean, they're going to call me an anti-Semitic just for that. I mean, literally, I will never forget the first time I was ever professionally called anti-Semitic was remember when the UN, Israel bombed an Iranian embassy in Syria, which is crazy, right? They said it was an IRGC base. Okay, whatever. Every embassy in the world is spycraft base, just so we're all clear. But so they bombed it, and then Iran fired missiles at them, right? And then America shot all of them down. And I said something like, modest proposal, the U.S. military should just shoot down stuff whenever it's attacking America. And everyone was like, look at this, like, disgusting display of anti-Semitism. Because we shot down the missiles that were going to Israel.
Yeah, I mean,
which they started it. No? Did they not? Well, they bombed an embassy.
Well, to that I would say, it's like, are you giving us forewarning that you're going to do that? Have we agreed with that action?
Right.
If you expect us to defend
what's in it for us?
What are you, some big talking pussy, bro? Big pussy boy.
We have to be aware and
oh,
we
yeah.
have to sign
Look
off
at you.
on whatever military action is going to require defense.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
There, but just expecting defense, and I think that might be taking advantage of the
Which is the way that they operate. From
Where did I get it, Farrah, bro?
I mean, that was so insane. The Qatar strike that happened, which this is a U.S. basically protectorate where you're just blowing people up with, I mean, who knows whether it was prior sanctioned or not.
But there's other countries in the region that also would want regime change with Iran.
Definitely. UAE, Saudi. I mean, even that kind of depends because they want regime change, but they don't want destabilization. Whereas Israel does want.
I just need one big run.
They want the Syria model. They want it to basically be a collapsed state, where a rump state, where you can constantly.
But that's just going to make it more dangerous to everybody around.
No, not really, because you're removing the bigger threat, which is the nuclear issue. They don't care about if it has destabilization and migrants and all of this other civil war like that. If anything, that benefits them because it takes out a regional competitor.
Why? Because there's
that's
less
what happened to Syria.
Organization.
Yeah,
but there's so many American allies that want this to happen.
Well, I don't see. That's the thing. If you look at the reporting, at least what's happening behind the scenes, from what we've seen now so far, the Saudis and the U.S., like these people may hate the Iranians, they may be against Iran. They're not pushing whatever the current Israeli position is, which is decapitation strike.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we should do it the old-fashioned way. Send Kermit Roosevelt in.
Send Kermit Roosevelt in.
Yeah, throw some newspapers
Well, he did
around.
a great job, right? Yeah, he was very successful at his job.
Okay, back to Epstein.
Yeah.
Unless there was something else. Oh, sorry, you were talking about how you felt about the current administration. I think it's really cool that you're willing to talk out and you're willing to criticize.
Oh, well, thank you.
Oh, bruh.
That's always kind of been my
You're
thing.
fucking serious right now.
Yeah, I mean, I
Well, it
never...
shows that you have standards and you're not just captured by the party. Or even captured by the audience of the party.
Right. Yeah,
I think that that's a very
well, that's a
important
cancer. As you guys know, people will stick with you if you actually at least try to stick to what you really believe in. And if you look at a lot of my comments, like, it hasn't changed. You know, it's one of those things where I'm like, who changed in this relationship here?
Well, I think that there's all the times where it's like there's different moments in history where you'll have more social utility based on your skill set than less.
Yes, that's right.
So, like, you know, if you're the guy that is saying the war on terror is stupid, while the war on terror is
Oh, that's why you're on the ground,
all of a
pussy.
sudden you're
Why you're on the ground crying like a pussy.
They're gonna want you to organize the world for them.
Yeah.
So I think that's but I think it's noble that if people are not, or an administration,
where you going, pussy boy?
to your standards or the promises that they made you, that you were actually really excited about, right? That you call them out. And I see a lot of people that are doing this mental gymnastics to like kind of justify what's happening. And there's this version where you just want to shake them and be like, you don't have to do it. Your people that listen will actually respect you more if you 100%. Don't do it, because they're going to see you as an honorable person and willing to go, hey, I'm going to call out the people in power.
Whoa,
even if those are people that I thought were going to do something beneficial.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And also, that's the only way you have. Look, I've also learned this. I've only been really doing this professionally for like 10, 15 years. Presidents come and go, you know, but we're always going to be here. A lot of these people, I have seen politicians be flashes in the pan who in 2 years will be stratospheric, on the rise, and then a couple years later, who? Beto O'Rourke, a good example. What's he doing right now? You know, these guys come and go, and at the end of the day, like all you have is yourself, your integrity. And if you want to keep doing this in this business, I've also seen a lot of commentators ride all those waves where they're the highest of highs, and then what? A year later, the lowest of lows.
Yeah, or they're just chasing trends.
Or they're chasing trends. Exactly.
Yeah, I think that you're going to see. I think one thing that I've kind of noticed from the administration is that like people assume that they just do what they want, the classic authoritarian approach, but when you see that they flip so quickly based on public sentiment, right? Like you saw it happen with ICE in Minneapolis. You saw it happen even with ICE when I think the farmers were complaining. They're like, yo, we don't have anybody to work the farms.
You died to a robot, you idiot. You fucking died to a robot, stupid.
Of what they're doing. You've seen it with certain tariff stuff. You saw it with Greenland. So the idea, I don't know, there's something kind of beautiful in it, which is like protest does work.
Guys, Epstein, the whole reason we're talking about this. Well, this whole episode is a result of our public pressure. The last time I was on here, they said that it was done and dusted. And now we have 3 million files. Like, we don't have all the files. It's only 2% of the files.
Oh, look at me. Oh, yeah, welcome fucking Benjamin Franklin. I have no hair on my head because I'm fucking gay. Yeah, here we go.
These guys laid it out on the line. I don't think people understand. They were dead. This bill was going nowhere. It looked like a vanity project. And then they just kept grinding and getting signatures. And then they beat the president of the United States. They forced his ass to sign it in the middle of the night. Something he didn't want to do. He said he wouldn't sign it. He had to sign it. It's the biggest L he's taken his entire presidency. Well, that's democracy.
And it's a beautiful thing to watch.
Yeah, it's cool.
And so to that point, when you see how willing the administration is to flip when public sentiment turns, especially their base, but when things look ugly on TV, I think there is like, I was talking to the PodSave guys, and they had a good point. It's like, he's an entertainment guy. He's watching like the news, and when the images look ugly on the news,
he knows.
He knows, and he starts to change his tune. So what's interesting about the Epstein stuff specifically is the pushback is monumental. But the flip-flop hasn't fully happened yet. They gave you like a semi-flip-flop. Here's some files, and now they're trying to shut it down again.
Yeah.
I don't think they can run away from this thing.
I hope that you're right. We have to just keep doing. So their hope with Epstein Files transparency was, first of all, remember, they violated the law. The day that they were supposed to release the files, they didn't release the files. They barely released anything. It took weeks. It was incompetently done. They redacted names that they were supposed to redact. They unredacted names that they were supposed to redact. That was a complete mess. Even, by the way, right now, to this day, they keep removing and then re-adding files to the Epstein database. Like, if you search Trump's name, there were some there that were originally, they were taken off. In the time that I've been doing this, the reason everything in my spreadsheet is captured on Twitter or in an article is because I can't link to the original, because in some cases, they've been taken down, as you all saw, for the redaction process. But the point for pressure is to understand what we're dealing with. We were dealing with as we've, to say for the umpteenth time, a vast network of unaccountable financial, political, and media elites who were engaging in immoral behavior, and in many cases, those people either knew about, were complicit in, potentially involved in many of these crimes, and that these crimes run the gamut, yes, from the more salacious stuff all the way to mind-numbingly boring financial or tax crimes, but they all bear investigation, right? That is the point where we shouldn't let up. And we should also, I think everyone should really be informed about this, because everyone tangentially is like, oh, Epstein, he was a creep. And like, I think they kind of know, but like always my, hope in doing episodes like this or my show is to like fill in all of the lines for the stuff of your suspicions, and also to like bring you back, because part of the problem with, is total explosion on the internet is people will fall for the most low IQ stuff. And it's sometimes I'm like, no, let's come it back. Sometimes you're right, though, by the way. Like sometimes those people are actually correct. And we can validate some of their, crazy conspiracies. But that's why I think it's really important. And why also it's so disappointing. A lot of serious journalists have dropped the bag on this story. For the Intel connection, all of the stuff I laid out here, I was on here 6 months ago.
Are you a freaking idiot, bro?
It was all there. It's all there. And it's only now. And now they're like,
are you a freaking idiot,
he's a Russian asset. You're like, come on. I'm like, colleagues Ryan and us, like
Are you
we're
a
doing all
freaking
these
idiot?
stories about Les Wexner, Iran Khan. It's all out there for the taking.
Why
They
do you
just
think
won't
they're
do
not
it.
doing it? Because
They're afraid.
They're afraid of lawsuits, or they're afraid that it would implicate some of their what?
It would implicate their people. It'll stop their access. I mean, doing these stories does not come costless.
What does implicate their people mean?
Okay, let's say if you're at the New York Times and you have a Jerusalem bureau and you start reporting all this stuff about Israel and Epstein, and then all of a sudden your Jerusalem bureau guy gets his visa revoked. Like, now what do you do? Well, what's important to you, right? I mean, that's a basic example, and that shit happens all the time. Bloomberg News had their people pulled out of China because they wrote some story about the Chinese, the Chinese premier or something like that. This happens constantly, and this is exactly why interconnected corporate media is very dangerous, because they always prioritize stories. Remember, I think I told you guys about this, the ABC News reporter who was leaked on camera, who was like, oh, I had the whole Prince Andrew Epstein story, but we shoot, I forget her name. Amy Robach, maybe? Amy Robach? I think that might be it. But she was like, we had the whole Prince Andrew story, but we shut it down because they threatened our access to the royal wedding for ABC News, right? Like, but that's reality. Like, that's what this stuff looks like.
Because these newspapers are like billboards to sell ads to 60-year-olds.
Right, and,
So,
and
like,
not just
they're not
that,
going to compromise these sources to show this
access.
shit.
This is, I mean, dude, the royal wedding, that was like a multi-billion-dollar product, right, for all of these people.
So they're just as interconnected and interdependent.
Of course, and also, I mean, think about it. Media conglomerates are just as directly implicated. Okay, actually, I don't even have it in here, but do you want to find?
I do not want to do a thing where
Do you want to find that the Ellison wire transfers? There were wire transfers from Epstein to David Ellison. There's some, you can look at it. It was definitely in the files.
But this is the thing, I don't want to do a thing where we like pat new media on our backs or something like that. But because, but the fact
Help
that
me. Help me.
we
We
don't
gotta
have
get
the
in.
luxury to be as interconnected.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Because
that's the only reason we can do it.
Oh, my face. He shot me in my face.
With all these people, because we are new.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like 30 years from now, who the fuck knows? Like Saga's kids could own a fucking massive media platform.
Billionaires will come in and be like, hey, here's a bunch of money. Can you not talk about us?
Right,
And then podcasters will stop talking.
Well, didn't
Oh,
they do
my
that
face.
to a bunch of podcasters?
Literally. Yeah.
So right now, I guess some of us are uniquely positioned to be able to talk about this stuff and ask these questions simply because we're not part of the internet-connected web and want to be able to get pictures of the real money. Like, how fucked up is that?
What is this one? Epstein writes to his lawyer. Have one of your cronies ask to
Help
see
you,
the
Oasis.
lawyers to Mar-a-Lago catch with Electricians Union. Oh yeah, this was to a reporter, I think, and it was about Trump. And it was specifically about asking to see the mortgage to Mar-a-Lago, cash from Electricians Union. His driver,
Oh my God,
was
sweater.
the bagman, $30 million loan from the casino to Donald Trump backdated. So this was alleged about, I think it was about some Epstein compromise, apparently on Donald Trump. But the important stuff to remember, like in all these emails, is not only just our current president and many of the people who work for him, it's the billionaire global elite. So like, we haven't even talked about the Bill Gates STD thing. Which is
Hey, bro, we're friendly over there,
beyond
man.
crazy. And one of the reasons why, a lot of
kill
people
that guy.
have said that it's
Melinda
a lie.
is hot.
Can we put the Bill Gates antibiotics thing up here on the screen? Right, so I want you guys to notice, this is in a sent email. Now, do you remember what I showed you earlier from my own reporting? Because one of the things that Bill said
Come
was,
here, bro.
this is fake,
Oh,
this is
come here,
all
bro.
a complete fantasy. Bill Gates.
Yeah,
In
he
his
sent it to
defense.
himself for some reason.
He sent him to himself. I have no idea why. Well, didn't I show you guys earlier that Epstein routinely sent himself emails?
Yes.
You would only know that if you've read thousands of his emails, which I have. He
You feel
routinely would memorialize and send
Oh,
things
please.
to himself for explicit purposes like this, for his lawyers, potentially for blackmail purposes. And this is the email
Got a
where he
defib
says
on
that
him
Bill
right here,
Gates got
pick it up.
STDs from these Russian hookers and then asked Jeffrey Epstein for antibiotics so that he could secretly give it to Melinda without her noticing. Now, to be clear, Bill Gates denies it. And Melinda Gates, I don't know, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw her reaction. She doesn't deny it.
She says it's sad.
Yeah, she was like, it's sad.
Yeah.
Something like that. Which, actually, the last time I was here, we were talking about that, and I explicitly was like, I think she knows more than she
We
lets on.
said this,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
she got out early.
Yeah,
she was
got-
insider trading.
And so that's the thing.
She shorted the Gates stock.
I think she found something out. And by the way, it's not just his
So after Embark recently patched night filters and also the newly discovered dev console, there is still one other way to get night visibility or night vision in Arc Raiders. And no, I'm not talking about the gamma setting in NVIDIA control panel. This can be used on any GPU, including AMD and Intel, if you for some reason have an Intel GPU. And that is with a third-party program. It is not bannable. It is just a very, very old program, and it's called Riva Tuner. But this essentially works the same way as the NVIDIA control panel does. The only difference is you can have a hotkey to set it on and off, because a lot of people don't only use this in night raids. A lot of maps have dark interiors in general, so people use it everywhere. And when you had night filters, you could easily put it on and off whenever you wanted, which you can't do by using the control panel. And also you can't use the NVIDIA control panel on other GPUs, so this is just a fix for everything. And this is probably the last and only way to get it. So let me show you guys how to install it and set up the hotkeys. Now, not to be confused with Riva Tuner statistics, which, if you guys know, is basically used today to limit your FPS. This is a very old Riva Tuner program from 2009 that essentially lets you mess with your monitor's gamma settings in a program. I uploaded this program to Mediafire, and if you guys think that it's a virus or something, don't worry, it's not. The virus scan is safe. There's no viruses in here. But once you download the file and open it up, you're going to see two programs here, and you're just going to copy and paste them somewhere, wherever you line. Over here, you just uncheck both of these things. They really don't do anything on newer Windows versions, so you don't have to worry about any of this. This is for old games that have been using Punk Buster, like the old Call of Duties and stuff. And after it's installed, you can run it. It's gonna take a little bit to install because it's building a database. You just have to wait on that. So once it's done, you're gonna see this little info pop up. And mine is unfortunate. Don't worry, this is not gonna break anything. Select Tuner 64 assist driver. It's gonna prop you with a warning that says if you want to disable boot the system, just select no. And don't worry, this is not gonna break anything, and the program is still gonna work. So once you're in the program right here, you're gonna see your GPU and your monitor. So I have multiple monitors connected, and mine is unfortunately called generic PNP monitors. You're gonna have to find yours over here in this list. It's gonna be different for everyone. And once you do, you're gonna click on this customize button right here, and there's gonna be a little rainbow screen pop up. So once you click on the rainbow screen, you're gonna see this little tab, very similar to the other tabs. But before messing with our gamma, we're gonna first save our default color scheme. So you're gonna call this normal arc, for example. You're gonna press OK. So this program doesn't have an on and off hotkey like the NVIDIA filters do, but it has a hotkey for the default color scheme, and then you're gonna put a hotkey for the higher gamma one. So after saving your normal one, you can now mess around with your brightness, contrast, and gamma to your liking. Again, everybody has a different monitor, so whatever looks the best for you. Mine is 1.6, for example. And once you're done with that, you're gonna save it again, and this time call it bright arc or something. You're gonna want to apply the settings. So at this point, you should have the normal arc and the bright arc settings set. So you're gonna want to apply this and click OK. And now all you're just gonna want to do is set up the hotkeys. So if you go under launcher and press the plus icon over here, so clicking the plus, you're gonna see this menu. You just click OK, and there's gonna be this little tab popping up, and under name you're gonna put in normal arc, and under the associated hotkey you just put the hotkey that you want to use. Now if I had a bigger keyboard, I would use like my numpad or something, but I don't. So for the sake of this video, we're just gonna put this on F8. And after that, all you gotta do is just check this associated color scheme and put it to normal arc. Okay, click the plus again and do the same thing, but type in bright arc and put the hotkey on something different. So F9, for example. Check this again and change it to bright arc. Click OK, and that is pretty much it for this application. You can put it to the side or whatever. Now if you're in game and you press F8 and F9, it's going to change like this with a hotkey. Thank you, everybody. If you have any questions, put them up in the comments, and I hope you guys have a good time. Peace. Do you want to get unlimited blueprints, materials, and coins instantly? Check out Mitch Cactus. They are absolutely the biggest and most reliable in Arc Raiders. Whether you want to increase your own level to max or get help completing raids and quests, they've got you covered. Everything is completely safe and legit for Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. They are super trusted by the community, and you may have seen them in other games all over YouTube, and that is for a very, very good reason. If you check on Trustpilot, they have over 20,000 reviews and thousands of personalized vouchers.
Is cheating because he's cheated for years. That's on, like, literally on the record.
Didn't they have like an agreement?
Who knows?
Where like he gets to go to
at that level. I have, who even knows at that level how a real relationship could ever function. But clearly the Epstein thing was something. Like it was enough for her to be like, "Whoa, I'm out." I talked about the Leon Black situation, right, where he had to pay in a settlement Reed Hoffman, that's another one. Let's Play on the Island. Griffin, I have that email.
I saw somebody bring that up about with
Richard
Reed.
Branson, Bring the Harem.
There's
right?
no
like,
way.
Dude, he's Richard
There's no way
Branson.
Richard Branson is involved in this.
I'm just saying.
No, but I saw somebody call out the New York Times for that they didn't include Reed Hoffman in the list of people that were interconnected.
Oh, I think the All In guys. Yeah, they might be right, actually. That's a good point.
Are you talking about Calcanis?
No, Jason, why would you do this? Why would you say you cannot say I didn't talk to him when you know that
when you literally
talked to him. You have to do the RFK thing and be like, we're digging for dinosaur bones. You have to like lean the fuck into it because then when
Someone like you. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
When it comes out, people go, okay, you are lying.
Right.
You have lied. And
there
once
it
we
is.
see you as a liar.
I barely knew the guy, and then here I spoke with Jason Calacanis. It's literally an email from Jeffrey Epstein.
That's funny.
There's also Steve Tisch. I'm sure you guys have seen
Giants
the
owner.
Giants
Yeah,
owner.
yeah.
And that one's bad, by the way. I mean, that's bad.
I mean, he couldn't even say that he didn't find girls.
Right.
Like, he had to be like, they were legal.
Yeah, he said, the specific email, he says, pro or civilian or working girl. You're like, dude, there's no innocent explanation for this. Like, it's straight up. There is literally no explanation for this whatsoever. Like, he was procuring girls on your behalf.
Yeah.
The thing I can't wrap my head around is like, it seems like America, we're just more concerned with just outing the people who are in the files instead of like prosecuting them.
Right. That gets to my earlier point, remember, about foreign governments. So I showed you guys, and I have some of that in the accountability section. Griffin, we already showed the French one. We showed Peter Mandelson. But like
Norway,
Slovakia. Let's put those up there so that they can see them.
Norway,
because these are important. Like
the former prime minister.
And I think what they did is they made him step. No. I think they're actually investigating him or something.
Yeah.
like
So
that,
Norway's former prime minister is charged with gross corruption over Epstein links. And then in Slovakia, the prime minister's national security advisor had to resign over Epstein links.
What do you think the public can do to force their hand? Because I feel like the public is what forced their hand to release the files.
Right.
Like, can we just change direction and be like, hey, we want to see some prosecution.
Right.
We want to see.
I think that the best way to do that is to channel your energy through the current process, which is Ro Khanna and Thomas Massey. Like, they're not dropping the ball. And also keep involved at the Democratic level, because this means if you're let me explain this. Representatives care about nothing. These are not principled people.
What
all right?
do you mean representative?
Like your House of Representatives, your congressman. Your congressman's greatest dream is to go viral. I wish I was joking. So what the best thing you can do is to reward them, is to say you will go viral as long as you pressure the administration about Epstein. They need to turn every appearance of every one of these officials, every time they're in front of Capitol Hill, there's going to be an Epstein question. You can never let them escape, right? And like, that's the only way that this will become a thing, is if they know that there's enough public and political pressure, as we all saw through the democratic process. That's and the way. Let's use the power of virality for good.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. You're addicted to attention.
Yeah.
Make sure this is the attention.
Right. These people are narcissists. All they want is attention. So let's give them attention, but only for the right reasons. Be very careful with your with your rewarding of narcissism.
I've seen certain people on the right being critical of people on the left, like maybe now calling these things out. And they're like, oh, you're just calling out because, it could hurt Trump. And it's like, good. Whatever your reason for calling it out is, it's okay because it's the right thing to call out. Who gives a fuck what your reason is?
Agree.
I mean, I imagine
that's, by the way, a successful political movement. When I was a crank talking about this on YouTube, now it's a national story. It was like me and maybe 15, 20 other guys.
We put it on Netflix.
But that's my point.
We want credit.
Right, but okay, great. Like, that's my point.
We use a lot of allegedlys.
Guys, we were cranks, no? Like, we were literally looked at as cranks. That was a national movement.
I will say credit to Netflix. Like, we were naming all these big names and we didn't get pushback.
That's awesome.
We only got pushback about one person. Ellen DeGeneres' vagina smell. That was the only time that Netflix was like, we got
the only note you got.
A special coming out with her. Do you have to make a Finding Nemo joke? And we were like, yes. And they were like, okay.
That's true.
But like, to be honest, this is, and again, I can't believe I'm defending kind of the big institution right here, but I mean that. Like, you kind of need the institutions to go, hey, we're going to put this kind of stuff out, and this is important. And then after years with people like you speaking out, a bunch of other people speaking out, maybe us putting a little something out, a little pressure, this starts to mount. And it looks like we're starting to see something. I think to what you were talking about, like, why do we want to see all these people punished? I think it's because the feeling is that nobody gets punished.
Yeah.
Right? So we're like, we need to see somebody go down.
I feel like we just want to see them like named, but like no one's calling for a punishment.
And
I want
see,
more.
that's the
Yeah.
worst part. Is let's go to the accountability section, Griffin. All of the people who are being held accountable for this right now are just private citizens, which, by the way, like is fine, but that's a sickness in our system.
Yeah.
So, for example, Kathy Rumler, we talked about this.
Oh,
the
you gotta
Goldman
bring that
Sachs lawyer. She's let's put this up there. She would just step down.
They handled
Goldman's
this.
top lawyer.
This is a perfect example of like having a crisis PR team handle something well, because they said she stepped down because of connections to Epstein and emails, and they didn't go into the actual interaction that they had. So this is Goldman Sachs top lawyer. I think she was also working in the
knock, knock.
What did she
There,
do?
I'll punch you in the face.
She was the deputy White House counsel for Obama, and she's Goldman's top lawyer.
Yep.
Can you bring up the email correspondence that Mark sent us earlier?
Yes, I'll send this to you, Griffin. Just one moment.
Again, there are people that are mentioned in the Epstein files that are mentioned tangentially.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
she's in there so many times.
Right, but like this is a very specific
I'm
interaction.
texting it to you, Griffin.
And I think it's worth looking at because
So-
go.
Yeah, this is let's see. You need to talk to the boss. This is from Jeffrey Epstein. From Kathy, she says, doesn't look like you're prioritizing your schedule effectively. How are you going to manage all this week? This is UNGA week. That's UN General Assembly week for the uninitiated. So the boss will be in town. I'll be here all week. You may get sick of me. Just sat down on the train, so can't talk freely. Epstein says, girls, ? Careful. I will renew an old habit. And then he says, this week, Teal, Summers, Bill Burns, Gordon Brown, Jagland, Magnolia President, Hardeep Puree, Boris, Gates, Jabor, Qatar, Sultan, Dubai, Coslin, Harvard, Leon Black, Woody. You are welcome, a welcome guest at any time. We've reported that email before, but that's like a who's who, where he goes, girls, careful, I will renew old habit. Anyway, here's all these famous, rich, and powerful people that I'm meeting with while they're in town for the UN General Assembly.
That email, I think, just kind of encapsulates everything. People are like, oh, how did he get away with this? Like, how did people let it happen? And it's like, he's putting it out in the open. He's making a tongue-in-cheek reference to his prior conviction, trying to procure a minor. Girls, I'm going to go back into an old habit. And then at the same time, he goes, look at all these amazing, famous, wealthy people that I can put you in contact with.
Yeah, exactly.
So in all of the Epstein files, what is the craziest email that you feel like everybody missed?
The most interesting email is this connection of the House of Rothschild to Jeffrey Epstein. And what we find in the article, as you guys can see, Ariane de Rothschild sending thousands of emails to Jeffrey Epstein. She is at the head of this bank in Switzerland, Edmond de Rothschild. Edmond de Rothschild, at the time, was facing a lawsuit or a problem with the Department of Justice.
In America.
In America. The Department of Justice was alleging that Edmond de Rothschild, the bank in Switzerland, was helping wealthy Americans dodge taxes. So what they decide is that they'll pay a fine. Now, to negotiate that settlement, they hire two individuals, Kathy Rumler and Jeffrey Epstein. And Griffin, can you go to most interesting email just so we can see the exact text? It's my own tweet, a screenshot of their email. He says, I think you will find 45.5 penalty, that's 45.5 million. Legal, Kathy plus Pillsbury around 10 million for legal fees to Kathy. Me, 25. All less than 80, pretty good. So they paid 45.5 million to the Department of Justice. Epstein was paid 25 million to broker that deal.
We're fucking
Kathy
not friendly
and
at
the
all.
team paid some $10 million. Now, by the way, the reason why this what puts it all together for me is you have the Rothschilds, this
Portal is
famous
so
historic
fucking
family
dumb, man.
in the history of Europe.
Boom, boom.
And you have them negotiating with our Justice Department, the American Justice Department. Who do you hire? Normal people in Washington. Again, I'm from Washington. I know how this works. There are 10 law firms which you hire. You don't hire Jeffrey Epstein unless you're hiring him for a reason. And when you hire him for that reason, it was to negotiate with the DOJ. Now, who's he negotiating with on behalf? What influence does he have? You have the former White House Deputy Chief of Staff to President Obama working for you. And what you do is you get that settlement knocked down. How did that happen? That's the story for me. The House of Rothschild, Jeffrey Epstein, Swiss banks. This is where, by the way, what did I talk about earlier? Epstein's influence and money laundering. Now, does Swiss banks maybe have anything to do with that?
No.
Right? Oh, yeah, we never, right? They would never engage in the movement and the housing of dirty money. Like, this is my point.
Swiss?
Well, they are honest. They're honest in their silence,
good
right? Yeah.
Swiss?
They'll take money from anybody, but
they'll take credit too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right. What do we know the Swiss for?
That is my thing.
What do we know the Swiss for?
What? Credit?
Chocolate.
Oh, yeah, chocolat. Right.
There's not a single fucking cocoa tree in Switzerland.
Is that true?
Of course not.
I didn't know that. Yeah. I'm trying to think about it. I only went there once. It's a great country.
You'll never see one.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't grow there.
No, but I'm saying it's grown inside. But how do they get the expertise of chocolate?
I wonder what countries in Africa they might have colonized to get all those cocoa.
I thought it... Okay, I'm gonna have to look into this actually. Yeah, because I thought it was a South America thing. Anyway,
well, both they got it there too.
Coming back to the Rothschild thing, you have the storied bank, you have the head of that institution, or one of the primary parts of that institution, hiring Epstein, his associate, and actually, if you continue reading the way that it all went down, is at various times he's using his network as the Rothschild bank is going through all of these changes. So at one point, he's like, why don't you meet with my friends at Apollo, Leon Black, right? Why don't you meet with Kathy Rumler and hire her? So he's using his social network of all of these other people involved in the files to actually set up meetings
That's
with the new
$7,000
House of
guitar.
Rothschild and the bank in order to broker some potential deals, some tax advice, flipping things around, some investment vehicles, various different things. Ayub Barak at one point is potentially involved. Like, my point is just that he uses his whole social intelligence, money laundering, and all of that network, brings it together for political influence to negotiate this one deal for the Swiss bank. So even though that bank story is kind of is kind of peripheral, if you think about it, like it's not the biggest story in the world. That's his whole influence. That's everything. It's the Swiss banks. It's like
it's not
U.S.
for the
government.
It's not for the Swiss banks.
Right.
It's for the powerful Americans that are hiding their money in the Swiss bank.
around.
That's why I think gets lost in all this. Like we hear the Rothschilds, oh, he's just helping out the Rothschild bank. No. He's helping out the Epstein class here because they're going to have to pay even bigger penalties for dodging taxes and hiding their money in that Swiss bank.
Exactly.
So the Swiss bank is leveraging maybe their relationship to do it, but this is him just helping out his boys.
Bingo.
And once you get helped by him, now you're implicated forever. So now you're also silenced, right? You're doing the deal with the devil. Right? Oh, this guy's going to save you 100 million or whatever, Leon Black.
150.
So 150, but now you're tied in. So for $150 million, you're tied to the pedophile forever.
Yep.
Now, the question is, how much...
Well, and they were tied for years before that.
Sure,
That's the craziest part.
There are other things, but there are people which they do something one time, and then they'll continue to do it.
Yes.
And maybe they're aware of his actions in the past and what he was convicted of, or maybe they weren't. But once they become aware, they know that they can't remove themselves from it. It's over. You're toast.
Very right. And that's how you end up in such... I barely knew the guy, right? Which is what Rothschild said. Oh, I knew him a little. I regret any of my past association. Like, when you look at all those emails, you can see, like, the names of all the people who were emailing back and forth with him. Like, it's unbelievable, the extent of all of these, like, wealthy, not only business titans, academia. That's another thing where it gets dark, like, with the academia stuff. His obsession with eugenics.
Yeah, explain this. Let's get into the salacious stuff.
Like, let's do it, dude.
Tim Dillon had an amazing
stuff
take.
here.
He was talking about the pizza and jerky.
Pizza, jerky.
And he's like, yeah, of course. Like, I mean, it makes total sense that the most wealthy people on the planet that have access to the best restaurants and the best private chefs would be obsessed with jerky and pizza. Like, of course, there's nothing else here.
I mean, there's an email with Epstein.
Well, so I actually do think that email, I'm pretty sure that's about the restaurant Cannibal, which it was just a restaurant. Like, people are misinterpreting that.
Well, there is one with Epstein and a guy who's like a massive urologist. I forget his exact name. And he emails him saying, hey, let's meet up. I would love to go grab pizza and grape soda.
I have that if we want it. I have the, that's in Pizzagate.
I don't know a ton of billionaires, but how many of them are going out for pizza and grape soda?
It does sound a little odd.
Like, again, I don't know what it is. It could be drugs.
Grape
it could
soda.
Be...
It's not bad.
I wanted to let you know I appreciate the pizza. This is better.
That was the closest thing there was to a black person. Singular mention of grape soda. Okay?
Yeah, I wanted to let you know in the crew, we really appreciate the pizza today. Thank you for letting us do that. Next, you mean radiating with a soft glow, look of bliss. Yeah, that's the pizza, ... Let's go. What else do we have?
That's better than a Chinese cookie.
This is better
Nobody
than a Chinese cookie. See attached. Let's go for pizza and grape soda again. No one else can understand Go no, whatever that means. And yeah, so there you go. There's multiple pizza references in there. Again, look, some of it add an instant explanation. People pointed to the jerky thing. That was about a restaurant, I believe, called Cannibal. So I want to be responsible on the stuff that I'm saying. This one, I haven't seen the innocent explanation.
People have pointed out the muffins thing. There's a lot of references to muffins, but then
shrimp as well. Have you seen that?
The shrimp one is
there's
weird.
another one.
But there's also references to an actual muffin recipe.
Right.
That just seems like it's muffins.
It could be muffins. Let's go. Can we put Snow White, the next one, up here? This is where I'm going to show you guys the stuff which is legit and has no current innocent explanation. Or I challenge you to find one for this one. Quote, the Snow White was effed twice as soon as she put her costume. Smile, smile, smile. So,
yeah, I mean, that's... Yeah. I don't know how else you explain.
Yeah, right.
And we don't know it's from.
It was a character. yeah. No, we have no idea. I will say that Jess Staley, who was the former CEO
Who wrote
of
Snow White?
Barclays Bank, he actually, who would? Walt Disney? Is it a book?
Grimm Brothers. Yeah, is it Brothers Grimm?
Is that a Brothers Grimm?
And where are the Brothers Grimm from?
German, actually, no. I'm gonna go German.
Let's see.
I mean, if that's what they're calling, like,
German academics. Wow.
If that's what they're calling, like these like white European prostitutes.
Snow White. Well, anyway, forgot on the Snow White thing. The Snow White. There was
How
a
old is Snow
reference.
White?
There was a reference to Snow White by Jess Staley, where he said Snow White. Something. What? Can you find it, Griffin? Jess Staley. That he was the former CEO of Barclays Bank. He actually resigned because of Epstein. And previously he worked at J.P. Morgan, and he was at the Nexus with Epstein. They exchanged like hundreds of emails. But he previously had made a statement about meeting Snow White, or he's like, Snow White says hi. So maybe Snow White was one of these. You know, yeah, there you go, right there. Maybe, what did he say? He sent an email, answered Beauty and the Beast.
Say hi to Snow White.
Oh, well, yeah, say hi to Snow White. What character would you like next? Epstein responded. Staley replied, Beauty and the Beast. You know, actually, now that I look at the date, in July 2010, can you go back to mine? That might be the same timeline, isn't it? July. Oh, yeah, there you go. July 2010. So maybe we just solved something right here. Anyway, we're not alleging anything, Mr. Staley and his lawyers, until his name is redacted. But you could put those two things together for yourself.
So he had a favorite, and then he would dress her up as children from.
Can we put hairy coconuts up there? This is another one. Here we go.
I mean, this is reassuring to all the people that text and use like emojis like snow and leaves and stuff like that.
They'll never figure it out.
Get away with it, guys.
I ordered sweet young coconuts from Thailand for you. They just arrived. Very yummy. I was going to ship them to you in Paris, but I hear you were coming back, so I will send them to 71st with Sarah. Just so you don't have to drink juices from old hairy things.
It's over here, it's over here. He's behind the van. He's behind the van. He's a fucking pussy. Yeah, shoot him in the face.
There's one, you know, haven't seen an explanation. Listen, I've never seen anybody refer to coconuts that way, or like who would ship coconuts across the globe, now, Paris, Thailand.
That person,
I've been to Thailand. There's plenty of coconuts. You can even ship any coconuts, you know what I mean? Yeah, they're available on the street. There's literally guys who will crack them open for you and do the whole thing with the machete. You can just stick your straw
Unfortunately,
in it.
Thailand is also known for something else.
Yeah, no, yes, I was going to say. Or you could think about something else.
All right, guys, stay brave for a second. For years, protein bars have been a go-to snack for quick protein boosts. But finding one that delivers real protein without excess calories and sugar has been nearly impossible. Most bars contain 15 grams of protein while packing 300 plus calories and loads of sugar. That formula stayed the same for decades until now. Introducing David, a protein bar that redefines what's possible. David delivers 28 grams of protein and just 150 calories with 0 sugar and only 12 carbs. Unfortunately, it's not carb-free. I wonder what is. The point that I'm trying to tell you is it doesn't have these unnecessary fillers. And they're now available at Walmart with 40% more protein and 57% fewer calories than the leading protein bars. David offers a superior science-backed protein boost that doesn't compromise on taste. It's not just another protein bar. It's the future of protein. Perfect for the gym, on the go, or anytime you want maximum efficiency from your nutrition. Listeners can buy 4 cartons and get the 5th for free at davidprotein.com/flip.
Let's go to shrimp.
Yeah,
That's
give
the
me
next
some
one.
shrimp.
I tried to Photoshop the cream off the twin shrimps. Quote, I like shrimp, but not so much if it's too pink, although I'm definitely more into white than into any other color. 2 are Russian, some are shrimp. You throw away the head and keep the body. She will give you a massage. She looks better than shrimp anyways, and good with massages. Code word shrimp. Again, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, they're bad at it.
Let's
Hold
go.
on. What are people alleging the shrimp mean?
I have no idea. That's my point. It's just that it sounds strange. What do you think?
I mean, the implication is quite obviously like some type of sex traffic.
Yeah,
whether it's a adult prostitute or a young child that's being trafficked. And that's basically how people are applying this. There's also reference to black shrimp, I believe, where they're like, oh, I don't like black shrimp. And so it's like, what even is black? Like, it's not even a thing.
Right.
And then there's also references to like being in an aquarium full of women, like in the same kind of correspondence. So it's like coded fish language to basically describe sex trafficking.
Yeah, as long as you don't have any hammerhead ones, you throw away the head. Yeah, it's look, as I said, all of these are checked. Like, these are actually in the files. And anybody who doesn't believe me, you can go and check every email for yourself at any time. It's on the DOJ website. You just have to search the text.
Tell me about the sulfuric acid.
I think that one's been debunked. Let's see. I think I have it in unsubstantiated.
I pooped on your head.
55 gal sulfuric acid. So there was concern. People were like, "Oh my God, were they dissolving bodies?"
Oh yeah, we got a fucking big old feral freak it rat coming through. Everybody make a way for this fucking guy.
Purchase order, I think it gives it away. It says 55-gallon drum sulfuric acid, materials for conductivity probes, replacement pH and cable -RO plant. Apparently on the Virgin Islands, there's a lot of reverse osmosis water treatment plants. So that was the potential explanation for that one. I will say it was on the same day that the FBI opened up the sex case against him. So I'm noting the context there, but I was contacted by an expert who said that the RO plant is most likely an explanation for reverse osmosis, and that's what that would be used for. There was another concern. Can we put the trapdoor photo up?
Or what else could we order that would make sense?
Listen, you're all right.
On an island,
nothing's
but
confirmed.
Also, destroy evidence.
Here's another one. This trapdoor that everybody saw. This one I still have never. So like there's this trap door that leads from the floor directly into the ocean. Again, someone on the island contacted me and told me that it's common to have something called water cisterns that you need access to in some of these island homes, and that could potentially be the. I want to offer the without not with context, just so people aren't immediately drawing.
This one wasn't as compelling because they're like, it's a trapdoor that leads to the ocean.
Right,
like, well, it opens out, so it's inherently not a trap.
So it's likely they said something to do with water and cistern management. But I'm putting these there because you may have seen these on social media. But as I showed you already with the hairy coconuts, with the Snow White thing, with the pizza, the grape soda, those are ones where we have not yet seen any innocent explanation. Can we put you will be 22, not 14? That was another important one.
Have the people in these email correspondences been investigated?
Well, it depends. In some cases, yes. In some cases, no. In many cases, we don't even know who they are. As you saw in the Snow White email, it's all redacted, right?
But then you said that
even in some of these cases, like look here, in these, like these are all redacted in terms of who the sender and all of that is. This might be because it's a victim, but like in terms of his own behavior, you can actually see here directly. He tells a 14-year-old, or he says, quote, "You are going to be 22, not 14 years old," in this email exchange. And he even is instructing her, so I'm going to read some of this. "Now that I understand, try to take some nude photos, be open, brave, sexy, wild, dance, jump, have fun, live. I think you should take some of yourself first. I wanted you to be free with yourself, blah, blah, blah." Then he follows up, she says, "I watch porn, of course. Okay, I will be at home. I will try to take some of myself." He says, "Try today to be free. You look great. Think sex, intimate videos, have fun, learn English." And then he continues about you are going to be 22, not 14. That's in the email exchange. So there you go. It's definitely a bit strange whenever you're reading the entire exchange. I really, I really have no idea.
Mark, what else is going on in there?
Well, I'm curious. What is the TOEFL test?
TOEFL. That's an English exam.
It's English.
Yeah.
So this is a girl, a child that he's trying to traffic from a different
Well, I
country?
mean, you could read it a couple ways. He says you are going to be 22, not 14. Like, for example, you want to be free. Like, maybe he's saying you are 22.
Bro, you're such a fucking
Like, there's a couple different ways
weird,
you could read
ugly.
She could be
You're
22,
fucking ugly, weird,
saying,
bro.
don't act like you're 14
Yeah,
years
shoot me through the
old,
fake wall.
whenever it comes, right? So, like, I'm just giving you. But you can also, guys, you're getting.
Everybody's over here.
For, like, how disgusting this guy
He's
is.
over here. He's hiding behind the wall.
And, like, it's like this goading, like, gross behavior that, like, girls will talk
All
about
through there?
when they're on
Me through.
dating apps. So he's like, out of
Bro, this game sucks.
why don't you send me some selfie
so many
images?
of those.
Yeah,
If you
and
just
it's
roll
just-
through
it's
that.
thousands.
If you
of
control
these.
F into the
Yeah.
files on the actual website, it's like, oh, I want
And,
to see you naked. Send me
Yeah.
pictures.
Constant,
Hundreds of those.
constant,
The strangest one that I haven't seen anyone talk about is the book recommendations.
Which one?
There's a few. Obviously, he recommends people read Lolita.
Yeah, I know.
And regularly. And,
Actually,
like,
in his hacked email, we found that even right before he died, he was buying new copies of Lolita. So he owned a first edition and he had an annotated copy. So he was obsessed with this book.
he's obsessed. And
Yeah.
I've heard people suggest that it was potentially like a pass.
What, Lolita?
Yeah, like having a physical copy of the book was somehow some type of
like a
access
signal?
point or some type of signal, because people are referencing and emailing him saying,
"That's dark.
Which copy do you want me to use? Do
Right.
you have a copy I can?"
Soccer, should we do the plant one that we learned today?
Oh yeah, let's do the plant one. That's a fun one. Paralytic drug. This is from TMZ. I actually looked into this one specifically for this pod as I was on the radio. So TMZ reported on this email. I checked the email. It is legit. They say Epstein may have had collection of highly poisonous plants known to produce a drug that blocks free will in its victims. And so the drug that is referenced is about this zombie plant drug, and specifically a type of drug which produces, it's angel's trumpets, which are toxic, and they produce a drug called scopolamine. And so I looked into it. There are 2 emails in the Epstein files that reference scopolamine. And one of them, here, let me find it. I have the exact screenshot. It says, forwarded email to Epstein. Scopolamine, powerful drug growing in the forests of Colombia that eliminates free will, from the Daily Mail that was forwarded to him.
Real quick, is Snow White Sleeping Beauty?
No.
Those are different characters?
Different one.
No, it is. Yeah, they are different. They're definitely different.
Yeah, Snow White's supposed to
Snow White is the 7 doors.
And then the
Sleeping Beauty is its own story.
Yeah. Prince Charming.
Right. Let's do the Ohio gynecologist. This was from local news in Ohio.
Bad.
Epstein made
Bad.
regular payments to Ohio State head of gynecology.
Don't want to do this,
also
bub.
lives in Ohio, by the way.
Leslie Wexler.
Who?
Leslie Wexler.
Oh, Wexler, his main finance.
Exactly.
Okay, okay.
Langdon received
We got a
as much as
volcano. Wow, bro.
$25,000 every few months. Langdon told NBC
To the white.
the payments were
To the white, yes, get him.
consulting work and had no
I'll
knowledge
block
of
him.
Epstein's
Nice.
crimes.
Great job.
Along with the quarterly payments, Landon was received 10
Beat him.
packages from
Yes, kill
Epstein's
him.
associates.
Haha.
In all, he spent more than $200 mailing things to his home. The files do not detail
There's a spider.
what was
Spider on
named.
you.
A man named Eric messaged Epstein
spider
saying
on you.
Dr. Langdon's 25th quarterly payment was due. Please approve.
I'll get
A
it.
few hours later, he wrote that Epstein's company had billed Leslie and Abigail Wexner in advance, as we have for prior years.
Oh, he's coming
for
back.
The payment. There you go.
That's how he gets
Have
the
no
drugs
idea what
for
that whole is about.
Gates' STDs.
There's multiple of these types of things where
Yeah.
he's off paying. We didn't even talk about the U.S. Virgin Islands. We should do that for a second. Let's do
Have a defib, please, have a
Epstein
defib.
pays
Defib
tuition of U.S. Virgin
Please
Island
defib
governors'
me.
kids.
Defib
So
me.
you know where Little St. James is? He was literally paying the tuition.
Oh,
of US
Clinker.
Virgin Islands
Clinkers.
government. Their children at the school.
Clinkers.
And he wasn't even the only person that he was paying for. And remember, their congressman, Stacey Plaskett.
One, he's
was
coming, the
live
Wolfman, the
texting
Wolfman.
Jeffrey Epstein in the middle of a congressional hearing. And she
Oh,
has never apologized for it. And in
oh,
fact, the email
oh,
shows
touch.
she went to the island. You can go to the link
Boys,
right before that. Democratic Representative Stacey Plaskett went to Epstein
Faggot.
Island in 2014. Previously worked for the Epstein fixer in the Virgin Islands, who accompanied her to the island. Plaskett is the only sitting member of Congress, it seems, to have visited the island
She's
right now.
still
Sorry,
sick.
bro.
Yeah, she refuses to apologize. She what did she say, or Crockett say?
Well, Jasmine Crockett defended her.
Yeah, Jasmine Crockett was like, she was emailing a constituent or something like that.
yeah.
Whenever it comes to
It's
her.
crazy.
It's great. You can literally watch it on video. You can
you've
watch
seen
the
side
video.
by side.
Of course I have.
It's
Yeah.
absurd.
Yeah.
You see her literally. Who's she?
She's questioning
She's
someone.
going after someone else, but then
She's
like, but
questioning someone
Plaskett-
live
someone
in a
connected to
congressional
Trump.
hearing.
I think it was what's his name? I see his face.
And Epstein is coaching her through.
Literally saying, "Hey,
Yeah.
ask about this." ask about this. And she goes, she literally asks about it.
Yeah.
She doesn't know if it's a name or an acronym. So she's literally just like impractical.
It was
jokers.
Michael Cohen.
Michael
It was
Cohen,
Michael Cohen. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Trump's
right.
lawyer.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's talking to Trump's lawyer, and Epstein is giving her things to talk about. And she's
Right.
just saying it live
Yes.
in the hearing,
Yes.
basically being like, oh, what do you know about this? Doesn't know if it's a person or an acronym.
Right.
And is just straight up like impractical
And these
jokers getting
things
told
are-
shit while she's saying it.
These things
It's
are
crazy.
absolving Trump or incriminating Trump.
It's putting Cohen under pressure.
Oh, so it's meant to.
It's actually bad for Trump because Cohen was there testifying.
Yeah.
At that time, remember, he turned on Trump.
That's what
Yeah,
I'm trying to
yeah.
understand. Is Epstein trying to incriminate Trump, or is Epstein
Well, it's
trying
actually
to...
from the emails, it does seem like Epstein hated Trump near the end. He was kind of a Russiagate like libtard near the end of his life. Like he was ordering all these books and he was encouraging people to ask questions about
It's
Trump.
putting pressure on Cohen and making Cohen go, oh, how do you know about that? Like that's basically the energy that it's giving off.
He's a great person to be hated by. Right? Like, why does he hate Trump?
I don't know. It seemed it could have been the bit. Look, there's a variety of explanations. The fallout allegedly over Mar-a-Lago. There's a theory that they got into some spat over a real estate deal, right? And then maybe because of the Bill Clinton, like you just said, I hadn't even realized that he had brought it up one time in 2016 about Bill Clinton and his relationship to Epstein. Epstein didn't like that.
Where are his enemies? Where are Epstein's enemies? This is what I find so peculiar. Where are the people that are...
Whoa,
Putin
man.
has Navalny.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Where are his long-standing enemies, the people who are like, fuck this guy, he's a piece of shit. Maybe they, for whatever horrendous, fucked up reason, they look past the human trafficking. Because maybe they do those things as well. But maybe they hate him because of other things, other business deals that have gone wrong.
Right.
Maybe they have ideological differences about the world and they don't like him as a power player, which is obviously like the Navalny Putin thing. Where is the opposition to him?
I mean, they can't
Well,
speak
maybe
up.
they're afraid. Yeah, maybe they're afraid because he's too
You're
powerful.
more afraid of Epstein than Putin?
Well, I don't know if that's necessarily true, but it's like well, first of all, Epstein not nearly as important as he was. So it depends on how you define power. But the question.
Baby shark, baby shark.
But the one thing I think that erases a little bit is the victims who fought him in court for 10 years, right? Like it took them 10 years.
But the victims are not billionaires in their own
that's
right.
true.
Well,
That's true.
That's the thing. I heard this from Ezra Kleinspot that the guest brought up a point that.
Oh, you're such a little pussy, bro.
That he
I want to be one
groomed
that's
the
got
girls that he was
bare
considering
hands and you
to
come
come
down
young
with a
guys.
little
He was
pussy with
grooming these
blonde
people,
hair.
He was also grooming these billionaires. That he himself was hand-holding all of them. And someone at his level,
I get a
at
fair
Epstein's level,
fucking
the amount of
fight
money
and get my
influence that he had. He has people flying to the
Ridiculous,
island. And he's
bro.
personally texting them and emailing them. When do you land? What do you need? How can I help you? I'll pick you up. But he is personally being the liaison to give them
Fuck this
concierge
guy up.
service everywhere they go when he's in control.
Yeah.
And I think that he's actively grooming them to the extent that he makes all the rich, wealthy people really happy, and he's able to exploit and basically sell out and traffic the most vulnerable people that he knows can't go against him.
Right.
So
And
he
this
keeps
is-
all of his enemies right here.
Yeah, and you have, I mean, what's astounding is the sheer number. Like Elon, and by the way, we haven't even talked about Elon. That was insane. Like
Begging to go.
Dude, on Christmas morning.
Yeah.
With
At
his wife.
6 a.m. with his wife.
Yeah. And Epstein tries to go like,
Yeah,
I don't know if she'll like
she
what
may not like
happens
it
here.
here. The ratio's kind of off, and he's like, she'll be fine. Like, she'll get over it. You're
Yeah.
like, dude,
So that's
oh
a great
my
example.
God.
You can see
like,
Epstein doesn't really like Elon,
Right.
but is still being very diplomatic and
Right.
being very nice with him
Yes.
and saying like, hey, the parties are actually canceled. It's not you.
Right.
Like he's an absolute operator at all levels when he's
Yes.
dealing with the highest draft.
Or the tour of SpaceX, which Epstein always or Elon always said he didn't get it, give him one, and then Epstein goes, "Thanks for the tour."
Sarcastically.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, maybe, but it's one
Do
of
you
those
subscribe to this allegation that Elon makes that Bill Gates shorted Tesla at the behest of Epstein?
I've never followed it. I mean, I feel like nobody. I feel like zero people are trustworthy in that entire story. So it's one of those where I have no clue. And at this point, I'm not exactly in the business of believing Elon, considering how this whole Epstein situation went
Of
down.
course, you have to be questionable
Right.
of everybody. But so, I think you were about to bring up one more thing, but then I do have an overall question.
I think we've hit most of the billionaires that are on my list.
Well, no, I mean, I want you to go.
On this point, I just want to say that there's so many people, I mean, I've just heard justifications where they go, oh, I didn't know. And then people say like, oh, maybe they didn't know. You don't Google every person you're connected to. And I've heard people say, I disagree. I just asked you why. And I've heard people say like, oh, they just look past it because the charge is kind of bullshit. And he says that he wasn't really even in prison that long. And they're able to look past it because it does seem better for them. But there are people that got connected to Epstein that turned him down. And there's a bunch of them that just said like,
Joe Rogan.
I want nothing to do with this.
Norm Finkelstein.
Yeah.
There were a bunch of them who were like, no, man.
They were just like, yeah, I Googled him and this guy is bad. I don't want anything to do with this. And to me, that completely skewers this whole defense of like, oh, I didn't know, I didn't Google it.
Totally.
It's like, well, there's so many other people that did, so
and
why
in
could
a lot
you
of
not
cases,
do the same thing?
people who said no had way less power, right? They were not nearly as rich. Like, for example, Reid Hoffman, one of his defenses is he's like, oh, well, he would only help me raise money if I went to... It's like, dude, what do you need to raise money for? You're worth like $40 billion. Like, you need help raising money? Or whatever. You know, and your collective net worth of you and all your friends is going to be in the hundreds of billions, right? Why do you need this obscure financier to help you finance like an MIT or Harvard donation? Like, even that explanation passes no smell test for me. Same with Bill Gates. His original explanation was what? Oh, well, he was going to help me raise money for the Bill and Melinda Gates. It's like, dude, you were one of the richest men in the world. Like, what do you need this guy for? Allegedly, the real influence campaign was Bill Gates needed him to help him win the Nobel Peace Prize. But honestly, the more that we see now is like, dude, maybe there was something going on in terms of the social life that Epstein is offered, you know, is able to offer him. And then when Bill cuts him off, what does he do? He memorializes this memo to himself about Bill Gates and the STDs and all of this stuff. Like that's how it operates, is that he got in with him. Maybe Bill realizes he's a fraud or he gets upset with him. That's exactly when the Epstein email is going to strike. Right? That's when the memo comes. It's like, no, you don't get to walk away from me. I walk away from you, if ever at all. And like that's the nature of his
blood
relationship.
In, blood out.
Right. It's the nature of his relationship with all of these guys.
And he's charming and brings you in, and if you try to fuck him, then he has stuff on him.
Yeah, exactly. He was nasty. I mean, you see it in his communication with his victims, right? And how commanding and controlling he is. And then also in the way that, like, when you cross him, all the people who did business with him, they're like, oh, you do not want to be on the other side.
Why? What happened?
Because he wouldn't pay his bills, or he withdrew a protracted legal battle, or he would call somebody to yell at you. Like, his MO was, if we're in business, you're going to be my friend, everything forever. But if you mess with me, it's going to be a problem.
So who was doing the punishment at his behest?
Well, he had a lot of lawyers. I mean, he's a very good man, right? Well, I can't name all of them. But one of the lawyers, you want to look it up, one of the head of the law firm just stepped down. Who was it? Law firm, stepped down, Epstein. Make sure I get his name.
Because these guys are, they're not co-conspirators in the sex trafficking per se, but they are co-conspirators in terms of the operation. So you look at like a Harvey Weinstein type. Well, again, they're not guilty of sex trafficking, but they are guilty of maintaining his power.
Yeah, by the way, this is a no shit. That's their job. Paul Weiss is a massive law firm. Like, anybody who knows, this is a very influential. So to have Brad Karp, who was the chairman of Paul Weiss, to step down over his relationship with Epstein, big deal, right? Because you could actually see Karp once thanked Epstein for, quote, hosting him for a once-in-a-lifetime evening. Epstein told Karp, you're always welcome, and that there are many, many nights of unique talents. You will be invited often. Look, here, let me give the innocent one. He often held dinners and lunches with very wealthy, powerful, rich people, smart people, MIT law professors. A lot of people actually went to those, and they didn't know anything about the sex stuff. Now, I will say, some of them who did go were like, yeah, even when we were at innocent dinners, there was something off about the guy, or he would have women who were sitting in his lap, right, at the current meeting.
The paintings
right, the paintings were all like deeply sexual and discussed. Like, so there's not a full off
face
just
pussy
doing that. Like,
it
if you went in there, you probably
talk
did.
about Diddy parties. It's
right,
like,
no, literally.
we were all at the Diddy party, but I ain't seen none of that shit.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, but you definitely knew something was wrong. It's like you definitely knew that the power dynamic. You can smell it, dude. Like if you're in a room like that, you're like, this is not right. You know, it's like, especially with those pictures. Also, I just do want to return to that thing. People were like, oh well, I had no idea. After 07, like, I'm sorry, Google exists. The charge is registered sex offender. Solicitation of a minor for prospect.
Is it
how can you get out
sex
of it?
offender? I thought
He was a registered sex offender.
But I thought the specific charge, the sex offender registry was wiped after a year.
I forget the timing of it, but he had to register as a sex offender.
But I thought that it went away afterward. Like I thought that was why part of the reason why we said
I
deal is
forget how
because
long
he
ago.
got married as a normal citizen afterwards.
I don't have it in front of me. I'd have to look it up. But the registration term, I don't know. But the solicitation charge is out there. It was literally public record.
The solicitation charge, yes.
Right, but it literally says solicitation for a prostitution involving a minor.
Right.
Like, I would never meet anybody. Right? Like, would you?
No.
It's just it's a single Google. It's simple Google.
And you can go to Wayback Machine, and you can look at what the Google search in 2016 was.
Right.
On Epstein. 3 links down, you go, Miami man arrested. And
Alright, I'm gonna jump with my Bobcat.
Right,
Fuck you.
No, this is not
And
happening.
then you're going to continually do business.
You can also see. I don't have it in the document, but I think there was some email where a firm was helping him edit his Wikipedia page or like edit search results. So like he was very concerned, exactly maybe about this, that people were out there Googling him, who he was supposed to meet with, and then they're removing some of the search results. So
you mentioned earlier that you got the email leaks. Are these different emails from what?
Some of them are in there, not all of them are in there.
Okay.
So one of his emails was hacked by this collective group. They gave access to my colleague Ryan. Ryan shared it with me. Actually, not just me. Bloomberg News got their hands on it. A couple other news outlets. I mean, it has a lot of personal information, so we can't just publish all of it.
Much fun.
You know, you have to be responsible. But we published most of what we thought was newsworthy. That underage email I showed you, that was some from his hacked email. I don't even know if that's in the file.
Was there an email? You know how he sent himself an email like to maybe blackmail Gates.
Right.
Was there one like that about Trump?
No, there hasn't been one that I've been able to find yet. I haven't seen one, at least in the sent email. And I checked. To be fair, you should remember this. He changes email all the time. The hacked email that I had access to was only active for a select few year period. Every time he would get in trouble, he would change his email. So there's like 10 emails.